All right, everybody. Welcome to Who's Your Band. I am Jeffrey Paul. I'm joined by Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Oh, Jeffrey, just ducky, just absolutely ducky.
Well, listen, we have a good show ahead of us today. We're going to bring in our guest right away, and he is a former Major League Baseball player. He played with the Mets, my favorite team.
Yeah, how many more goddamn Mets you going to book in this show? I got one fucking Yankee in 3 years, and I've gotten like nine Mets.
Yeah, because the Mets are the better team. And
You
and,
can say that
and
with a straight face. This is
I do say
embarrassing.
that with a straight face. And you know what? Our guest is going to back that up. Let's welcome Mr. Kevin Baez. How are you, Kevin?
Great, guys. How are we doing today?
Oh, wonderful.
We're doing
Good.
good. Now, Kevin,
Good to
you're
be
a New
with you.
York guy, aren't you?
Yeah, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Went to obviously high school there, and then moved
What
out
high
to Long
school did you
Island.
go to?
I went to Lafayette High School.
Oh, very famous baseball school.
Yeah, home of Sandy Koufax, Fred Wilpon, Johnny Franco, Louis Lopez, to name a few. Larry King actually went there as well. But as far as ex-ball players, Johnny Franco, Louis Lopez, and John, like I said, Fred Wilpon was the owner of the Mets. He went there.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about Wilpon. Um, as a Met, but you were kind of, if I kind of remember, Kevin, you were kind of like a high school baseball legend.
Yeah, I mean, I did well in high school. I did well in college. I got drafted by the Mets in 1988 in the seventh round at a Dominican college up in Rockland County. Fast track to the major leagues and got there in 1990. Then I suffered a really bad injury, got hit in the face with a fastball up at bat, and I was out for the whole year. And, struggled to come back after that, but up and down then after that in the big leagues and the minor leagues, and then pretty much ended my career playing in the minor leagues for the next 12 years after I was left the major leagues.
But no matter what, even after you got hit, and well, let's talk about that for a second. Yeah, because you went to Dominican, and
Yeah.
Dominican, if I remember, is a pretty good baseball school as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the time it was, it was an NAI, and I didn't know anything as far as like the school and everything like that. It was a great move by my part going there, but at the time I didn't know anything about it. But we had 6 or 7 guys drafted my junior year, and then I think another 5 or 6 drafted the year after me. So definitely the school, got better and better, and now it's Division II. It's called Dominican University up in Rockland County, Orangeburg, New York. So and then my lifelong friends I met there, so it was a great decision. At the time, I didn't know, but it was a great decision.
So you go to Dominican, and you're kind of like kind of like you're a real good college baseball player too. And
Yeah, yeah.
listen, you kind of downplayed. Hey, you only had a couple of years in the majors, but I had a
Well,
couple of guys I know got drafted. Played in the minors, never got into the major leagues. You did, man. You wore the uniform. You were in the show. What's that like, man? How can you describe what that feeling's like? What it's like to be a major league professional baseball player?
yeah, just like every kid, I grew up since some little league, aspirations and goal of getting to the major leagues, and uh, no one basically growing up got there except for a few. But difficult task. But I had a dream, and I was one of the few to kind of fulfill that dream. So yeah, I am proud of that. Staying there was obviously another issue, but like you said, getting there is difficult as it is. So I'm proud of that moment.
And the incident that you referred to, getting hit in the face, who threw the pitch? And can you walk us through what was what
Yeah,
happened?
it was 1991. And like I said, I got drafted in '88. I got to the big leagues from Double-A in 1990. So they're like, "Hey, go down to Triple-A, get some more seasoning in. We're going to call you up shortly." It was April, I think, 26th or 27th. It was in Omaha, Nebraska, playing against Omaha Royals, I believe. And then his name was Maldonado, I think, a pitcher. And he just threw one up and in on me, and I just couldn't get out of the way, unfortunately, and hit me right in the face and broke my jaw and obviously some teeth. And to this day, I got a plate and some wires in my mouth and my jaw. So yeah, difficult, obviously, moment. And then I was out for the whole year, and then to come
Oh
back out
shit!
after that was difficult, but it happens.
Still look good. Um, you do remember that happened couple of years ago on the Mets, Pilar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He luckily, he came back soon. But for me, again, I broke it, and I had to wear basically like a mouthpiece for like 8 weeks. I couldn't even open my mouth, so I lost a lot of weight. Even I was skinny as it is, but definitely difficult moment. Then to get back in the box was a little tough at first.
Yeah, medicine is also different. That was like 20 years before
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I mean, listen, I remember getting hit in Little League and getting it really, and then like kind of like always like kind of stepping out. And,
Yeah.
what's that? I mean, just to be able to get back into the batter's box and to play again. I mean, that had to be, that had to be like in your head. Were you scared? I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Well, definitely getting back in the box took some time. I was fortunate enough to go to Winnable in Puerto Rico the next year, and I felt more confident. Then the following year, I got called up and down to the big leagues, and then again I went back to Winnable, and I won the batting champion there. So I definitely felt pretty good after that, and I just never got another opportunity to get back to the big leagues. But the Mets gave me a chance in 1993. They gave me an opportunity. And I just I didn't hit, so they gave me an opportunity. I just didn't take advantage of it. And unfortunately, in this game, you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it.
But you kind of stuck around baseball. I mean, you've pretty much made baseball like your livelihood. You were a coach. You weren't you out in Long Island with the Long Island Ducks?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Then, like I said, after that, I just spent many years in the minor leagues with different teams, Detroit, Minnesota, Cincinnati, and then back with the Mets and Baltimore. And then back with the Mets, ended my career with the Mets as far as in the professional, in the minor leagues with them. And then I got a chance to go play for Buddy Harrelson with the Long Island Ducks. Right. And at that time, I was living in Brooklyn still. And then I played 2002 with the Long Island Ducks. And then I had a great career with the Ducks. I became a player coach, then a manager with them for 10 years. Won multiple championships, and then I went to Rockland Boulders, another independent team, for 2 years and managed them, and right before the pandemic. So that's what I did, and I'm a lifer, a baseball guy. I still do that to this day. I teach kids. I do camps, clinics. I do lessons, and I coach one of my son's travel team.
Could a guy make a living, a good living, being a minor league coach, player, independent? Because I'm looking at a guy like Ruben Tejada. Remember him?
Yeah.
And he kind of reminds me of you as a player, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And who knows if he'll get another shot at playing. But you love the game, you love what you do. You get a couple of unfortunate circumstances. But can you support yourself in the minor leagues and hustle like that?
Well, one thing with me, I was fortunate enough to get to the major leagues real quick. So what happens is once you're in the major leagues and you go back to the minor leagues, it's all prorated. So you get 20% less of what you made in the major leagues. So I was doing well in the minor leagues where some guys were making, $1,500, I was doing well. And I was able to live my life and enjoy it and make a living, like you said. Not great, obviously. You're making 50, 60. Some guys are making more, but some guys are making a lot less. And then with the Ducks, it's more of an opportunity. Like with Ruben Tejada, it's a chance for him to play and show every team out there. And that's what happened with me. I was actually with the Ducks as a player. Thought my career was over as far as getting back in the organization. Next thing you know, I was having fun and just playing. And Cincinnati Reds came calling, and I went to AAA with them in 2003. So, a lot of guys get an opportunity to play with the Ducks or in another independent league, and then they get a chance to go to an organizational back to the major leagues. I had Rich Hill on my team. I was the manager for the Ducks. I had Rich Hill on my team. Maybe 10 years or 8 years ago. And next thing you know, he's been in the big leagues ever since.
Yeah, he just signed a contract, I think, with the Pirates.
Yeah, it's a 2-year deal with the Pirates. God bless him.
How old is he?
He's in his early 40s.
And he just signed a 2-year deal?
I think it's late 30s. I forget.
I think you're right. He's in the early 40s. He was bouncing around. He played with the Mets for half a season too.
Yeah, the Mets. Yeah, no, and what a super guy. So when you're a player, you want to play. You want to be on the field. You want to be with the guy. You just the whole thing about it. So I always tell guys, you'll know when it's time. Because I didn't know. I was like, I want to play. And all of a sudden, when I was 38 years old, I was playing with the Ducks. I'm like, damn, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And the games itself is great. It's the work you got to put in to be ready. So, and that's the thing. And someone told me a long time ago, an ex-teammate of mine, Steve Springer, he's like, you'll know when you know. So, and everybody has their own mindset or their own time frame. But a lot of times you'll know when you know. And I knew.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game, okay? And the thing I wanted to, one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on this show is because I think you're a very knowledgeable baseball guy. And on top of that, all the rule changes that's gone into effect, or that's going to go into effect in 2023. So let's look at some of these rule changes. What do you think about these bigger bases? They're going to be 3 inches bigger.
Yeah, I mean, and what we talked about it before, as far as I was with the Ducks. So a lot of times when I was with the Ducks, we were the major league organization would, like, we did the time clock, we did the umpires with the mic or the earplug, we were the guinea pigs basically for the major league. So I seen this before it was even done in the major leagues. I was a part of it. You know what? Do I like it? I'm not a big fan of it, but I understand why. They're just trying to change a little things with the game, and then they, when I was with the Ducks, they had the man on second. So it was like, it's different. It was just, but they're trying to make adjustments. They're trying to, I guess, attract the younger audience, make it a little bit more action packed. And, but for old school guys, we like the traditional baseball game. I like the fact that there's extra innings. There's no time clock. And now, everything's on a time clock for the most part.
Yeah, but what do you think of, like, how do you think the 3 inches? And some people say, oh, what do you getting pissed off about?
Listen, how many times is the guy just out or just safe? So these 3 inches is gonna add. It's gonna be an advantage, I think, because he's gonna be obviously closer for the runner. Same thing with the steal, and you're only allowed a 3-2, and then if you pick off again, you have to pick him off. Otherwise, he gets the base. So
yeah, I think the pickoff thing is two throws if over, right?
Yes, and then if the third one, you could pick him off, but if he's safe, he gets the base.
He gets the second.
Yeah.
If you go to pick him off and you don't pick him off, then he automatically goes to second. Yeah, because you're only supposed to throw over 2. So on the third one, again, if you throw over, because everybody knows, if you only got 2, he might take a big ass lead. But you're still allowed to throw over. But if you do, he's got to be out. If he's safe, then he gets the base anyway.
And you don't think that's going to bastardize the game? Because think about guys who were running. Like, take a guy like Cedric Mullins. Last year, 36 stolen bases.
Stolen bases.
Easily over 50 this year.
Yeah. No, listen,
why wouldn't you?
All these guys. But again, if the runner really gets out there, then you got a chance to pick them off. So it's, again, I hopefully they look into this, and we'll see how it works and how it goes. But hopefully then it's not set in stone, and maybe they could do some adjustments as they move forward.
And what's your thoughts on the ghost run?
Yeah, again, I was with the Ducks and Rockland, and then that's when we first started doing it. It's like, all right, extra innings. All right, put a guy in second. It's like, what? So, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I understand why.
Why?
Because because they want to keep the game going. They don't want long games. But that's what I loved about baseball. I love that there was no time clock. I love that you have to use your pitchers, and you have to have multiple pitching and your bullpen. And not only that, it could affect the next day. So if you're playing a 3-game series, and you have a better bullpen, now this won't take effect, because now there's only is a guy on second with as soon as they go to extra innings. So
that's a good point. But
yeah,
but think about what baseball is and makes it more unique than every other game is, like you said, no time clock, but also you have to earn first base. How many times have you heard, the guy is fast, but you can't steal first?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden now we're putting a guy on second. All right, you go to second. I don't know how you got there, but you're going to go there. So
are you earning it? I mean, what does that do for the pitcher? I can't tell you how much I really think this hurts, the tradition of the game. And I know why they're doing it too. They're not worried about guys like me, you, and Sean, who are traditionalists, who are going to be there all the time. They're hoping that this millennial kid who don't give a shit about baseball, and you know what? They're not going to give a shit about baseball anyway.
I agree. I
You know,
agree. I was
so
listening to the
why are you
yeah,
ruining the core audience that you have? I hate the time clock.
yeah,
You got 15 seconds if it's empty, 20
yeah.
seconds if it's, are they
The
going to
guy, yeah.
force that? I mean, I don't get it.
They
I'll
just
tell you
want to
what. I'll
speed
tell
up
you
the
what I
game.
think the problem is. I think that they're trying to get a generation who has
Yes,
no patience,
exactly.
wants instant gratification, and they want tons of offense, and they
That's
don't
exactly
realize
what
that
it
it's
is.
not
Yep.
always about offense.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Now
this,
there's no more shift. Now no more shift. So
what do you think about that? No more shift.
uh I didn't like the total shift, but I like that you if you want to move your shortstop all over in the hole, and I just think that you should stay on that side of the field, but you can move wherever you want on that side of the field. I didn't like where you're putting the third baseman in behind second. He's like second base way deep, and then the other I was listening on the radio on the way here, on the way home. They were like, "Oh, well, why don't major leaguers can't just hit it the other way?"
Yeah, why
Well,
not?
well, listen, I'm sure they can for the most part, but when a guy's
Why
throwing
can't what
95 plus, it's a little difficult. When a
Kevin?
guy's throwing easy, you could do whatever you want, but not when he's throwing too hard.
Okay, but hitters adjust. If they want to put 9 guys in left field,
Yeah,
you can't lay down a bunt to the right side.
you're true. And then some of them have tried that. I know some. I know Rizzo. I know for the Yankees done it before. I know a couple of guys have done it. I think so. I think the more you do it, then maybe they won't shift on you anymore. But now they got rid of the shift, so this will help some guys and might hurt some others.
Yeah, I hate what they're doing to the game. Before we even talk about the upcoming season, want to get your thoughts on the Hall of Fame and the induction of Scott Rowland. It's been kind of like a controversial thing that people have been talking about. You hear it on talk radio all the time,
Yeah.
Amongst baseball fans. What are your thoughts on a guy like Scott Rowland? I'll even throw you a couple of others. Guy like Harold Baines. Okay.
Don Mattingly.
Well, Mattingly should
Yeah.
be in.
No,
Hernandez
I
should be
know.
in.
I mean, you're looking at Scott Rowland and Baines. You're talking about longevity. So, but there has to be something said about that. People are like, oh, he's patting his numbers. But listen, to play in the big leagues that long and have success that long, I believe he should be rewarded. In a Mattingly, now it hurt because he was short, but he was like one of the best players for 5-6 years, and then he hurt his back. So,
What about Hernandez?
Keith Hernandez should be in the Hall of Fame.
Because I mean, the argument that you're making for Rowland, that because he played a long time, which I agree with you. Like when people would say, "Hey, Don Sutton, he was never dominant," but you know what? He played over 20 years and he never sucked.
That's what I'm saying. There's got to be some kind of reward for that. To play that long in the major leagues, that's not easy. So the guy's like, "Oh, he's padding his numbers." I'm like, "Well, I mean, to play that long, I think this shows." So you know what? You're never going to keep everybody happy. But I think a lot of times I like the saying, like when you hear a name, does that come boom? And you have to think about it a little bit. Then is that a Hall? I think that should not be a Hall of Fame. But when you think of a name and then they automatically Hall of Famer, then I think that's the way you should go. When you have to think about it and look at numbers, I think then he should not be a Hall of Fame. Then
let me give you 3 names. Okay, Barry Bonds, should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame, Barry Bonds, yeah.
Okay. Right. I mean, he only leads, more home runs than anyone.
Right. You're looking at the steroid stuff, and I played in it with the steroid era, so I've seen a lot of guys do it, a lot of guys didn't, but the guy was a great player. Now, it's just so unless they have an asterisk on there, or have something where this is the era, but he was a dominant player.
He most dominant player I ever saw.
Yes, dominant.
Okay, Roger Clemens.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Again,
Pete Rose.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I mean, especially now with how not just baseball but sports in general is in bed with like DraftKings and
exactly.
I mean, what are you doing?
Exactly. You're building his case now, so hopefully one day he does get in. So I played with his son, and I got to meet Pete a couple of times. So good man, and I hope he does get in.
Yeah, hot girlfriend too.
Doesn't hurt.
How about Jeff Kent? Why is he out? Because when you look at his numbers, he destroys Joe Morgan, he destroys Ryan Sandberg. Yeah. Mazeroski doesn't even come close.
Yeah,
how is he not in Hall of Fame?
Yeah, and I played with him 1993. He just got traded from Toronto with the Mets, and I got to play with him. And his personality wasn't the best. And I think maybe that's what happened. He maybe rubbed some of the reporters the wrong way. But at the end of the day, he was a great player. And he should be in. His numbers are ridiculous. And then he went to San Francisco with Bonds, and he was like the protection for him and dominated. So
most home runs by his second baseman, most RBIs by his second baseman, over 280 batting average, and was a pretty decent fielder.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll give those other guys maybe fielding.
An edge on the fielding. Yeah.
But he was fine. He wasn't a liability.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I just like see this stuff, and I'm like, man, I remember I would go up to Cooperstown. I do like these interviews, and then I had John Harper and get into an argument about him over this.
Oh, the reporter, yeah,
the writer, yeah.
Right.
I mean, he toes the company line, and I'm just like, it's blatantly wrong. I don't care. Just because someone rubs you the wrong way.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Baseball is like, you watch it, you see it. Yep. Certain guys I think are undeniable.
I agree.
And like, what do you think about a guy like Harold Baines? He really spent most of his career as a DH. Ortiz, most of his career as a DH. Edgar Martinez. I mean, you're being rewarded for playing half a game.
Yeah, but to be a great hitter in the major leagues, I mean, that's what they did, and they did it well. So, yeah, I mean, and David Ortiz, he was my teammate when I was with the Minnesota Twins. His name was David Arias, and then next thing he comes back the next day. He's like, his name is David Arias Ortiz. I'm like, all right.
Was he a good teammate?
Yeah, I was in AAA with Minnesota in 1997, and we were teammates there.
Was he fun?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't, at the time he didn't speak that great English, but as the years went on, I was only there 1 year. So, but good guy, good player, obviously. And then he went to Boston, and then obviously he Hall of Famer.
What do you think about the? You have thoughts about this upcoming World Baseball Classic? Do you like
Love
it?
Love
you
it. Yeah.
Why is that?
I played winter ball in Puerto Rico for 10 years, and I just know how passionate the Latinos, anybody really, they play for their country. So this is just a way of expressing that and playing with your teammates, your countrymen, if you will. And the USA is always have a great team, and all these countries. So I think it's a great way to watch some great baseball and just root for your country, basically.
Is it a legit tournament?
Yeah, the talent is crazy.
It's crazy. When you look at the Puerto Rico, and you look at the Dominican, and you look at the United States lineup, it's insane. Yeah. Who do you like?
No, Dominican's lineup is sick. Obviously, I'm just gonna watch the games, but Dominican's lineup and their pitching staff right now, I think they're the front runners.
Who's their pitching staff? They have a couple of guys on the Astros, I think, right? Don't they have a?
Yeah, they got Alcantara. I know Alcantara, I think is the number one starter. I forget exactly who, but I know they.
Oh, you mean the reigning Cy Young Award winner?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good start.
Exactly. He's their number one. So there you go. And then their lineup is crazy.
I look at the American team, and
American team's got a good team. Yeah,
good, but I think the weak point is the starting pitching.
Yes, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why it gives Dominican the edge.
Yeah. Where are they playing? Did they play the games in Florida, or are they played throughout the
No, some in Miami, some in San Diego.
Have you ever gone?
No, I haven't actually. That would have been kind of cool. I'll just watch it on TV and stuff like that. So, but they're definitely excited that baseball is upon us, and getting excited. Spring training obviously started, and now that I have this World Baseball, now it starts a little earlier. So that's always good.
And what do you do for the spring training? Do you do anything? Are you part of a team? You coaching anything?
Yeah, I just coach I'm out of professional baseball for the last couple of years. So again, I coach my son's travel team. So we do winter workouts now on the weekends, sometimes during the week. But I just do stuff like that with them, and I train kids, I train teams. I do a lot of stuff baseball wise. I also do I'm still involved with the Mets. I do Mets fantasy camp every year. It's men 30 and over, and they go down to Florida for 2 weeks and they hang out with a lot of ex Major League Mets. Well, a lot of the '86 Mets and the '69 Mets are involved. And I was asked to do this about 16 years ago, and I love it. And it's just a great opportunity to meet a lot of great people and get around Port St. Lucie, Florida, and get a little baseball. So it can't be that.
It's cool, right?
Sometimes the people are a lot older than 30, though, Kevin.
Yeah, 30 and old. Yeah. It's the youngest is 30. The oldest, I think, right now, I want to say 84.
You look pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh. You guys got to come down.
I am. I'm coming down. I'm doing it the first week in November.
Oh, so you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I've never done it before.
You're gonna make sure you're getting ready. Where do you live?
I live in Staten Island.
Staten Island. Okay, so just make sure you're getting some work in and training before you go down there. So, because a lot of people
have to contact? Who do I have to contact about getting somebody to bean him in the head at about 86 miles an
hour? You could contact me.
I have cash, Kevin. I have cold hard cash.
Yeah, because what happens is, like, at the end of the week, a lot of times you'll face like Nelson Figueroa, Pete Shorrock. Who else was there that threw hard last year? Pulsifer, I think, threw.
Pulsifer,
couple of, but Nelson Figueroa was throwing really hard, and so some of these guys like.
So if I have like a prepaid debit card, say with like, I don't know, 1,500, $2,000 being sent to an anonymous person, I can get video of Jeff all week.
Yeah, no, they're gonna have a videographer that does video all week. So, but if you want to do it like more personal, I'm sure you can. But they do have a lot of videos of the action that's going on.
I just want to see his chubby, stocky little ass trying to run to first base.
Don't worry, he's gonna fit in with a lot of the other chunky fat asses.
Well, you know the problem is he's one of those guys that goes to the gym and there's no such thing as leg day. It's all biceps and chest, and he's got fucking pretzel sticks.
Well, you definitely got to do some running, because running 90 feet and then doing it because you play 2 games a day. So not easy.
All right, listen, YouTube. Listen, I have a plan.
There you go.
Here's the plan. It's the plan is already in effect.
To do the podcast from a wheelchair?
No, it's not. My plan is 3 months of diet, drop 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Then in May, I am going to start baseball activities. I'm going to start. I am going to start working out with a high school team. I got a couple of coaches that are going to help me over the summertime. Okay, and I am going to be ready to go. Do you know my friend who's down there, Tom Borowski?
Of course, Tom's a great guy.
Yeah. Okay, I'll work out with him. I know he does it. We have a couple of other friends, and I won't be the best guy, but I can guarantee you I will not be the worst guy.
I can't.
Did you play high school ball at all?
No, I haven't played hardball since first term Reagan.
Huh?
Yes. I haven't played hardball.
Oh, first term Reagan. I'm like,
first term Reagan.
Oh, president. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I played football and I played ice hockey.
Okay, all right, so it should be fine.
But I love baseball, and the Mets of all my teams are my favorite team. If I could have one team, from now to the day I win a championship.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. I love the Jets. I love the Nets. I love the Islanders, but the Mets are my favorite.
Oh, you only got about 2 years left, so Jeff, so you better hope this is the best year.
I better not have only 2 years left.
Yeah, I'd be sad. I'd be sad if that happened.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but it seems like a good time down there.
No, it's a great time. I'm telling you. And Tom will give you a lot of information as far as what to expect and stuff like that. I also do a lot of workouts with the guys that do come down to the Mets fantasy camp. So, I know you're in Staten Island, but I do a lot of stuff in Long Island where I do some workouts and stuff like practices on the field or indoors and stuff like that. So if you're ever interested in that, maybe we could work something out.
That'd be cool. Let's talk a little bit about the real Mets now. The upcoming season. First off, general question: what are your expectations? What do you think in the upcoming season?
My expectations are playoffs, and I just know once you get to the playoffs, anything could happen. Obviously, you can see what happened with Philly last year, but obviously they got a good team. They got obviously some pitching staff. They got Verlander, Scherzer, Sotuda, top pitchers around. Their lineup is good. So,
Are they
but
better
that,
than last year?
I think it's better than last year. Yeah, absolutely.
In what area?
Well, I know DeGrom was hurt most of the year last year, but now
Right, but they got Verlander,
they got
which I think is a
Verlander.
little bit of an upgrade.
That's huge. That's huge. And then obviously, you're always going to say, "Oh, if this guy's healthy," that's for every team. I think on paper they're a playoff team, and then anything after that, I think is great because I just know once the playoffs start, obviously everything can happen. So, do I want them to go to win the World Series? Of course, but I'm not going to say they're going to do it. But it's going to be an exciting year. How about that?
As a Yankee fan, I'm not going to say that I approve of this podcast today, but I'm going to go 88,
have an exciting year too.
88 and 74. That's their record next year.
Really?
So they're gonna be 13 games worse.
14 games over.
No, but 13 games worse than they were last year.
Yes.
Last year they won 101 games.
Yeah, they won 101 games. Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
They're going to be a 90-plus win team.
Absolutely.
I think the Yankees are a friggin' 500 ball club this year.
What?
Yep.
How do you figure?
You watch.
No,
I think
I'm never wrong.
I think in for the Yankees in the big picture, the best thing for them is probably not to be such a good team. Take a step back.
Yeah.
Because you think about the Yankees, they have the exact same problem that they had going into the playoffs last year. They don't have a left fielder. They don't have a left side of the infield, and you don't know who's really closing.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But they got some rookies. Hopefully, these rookies could step up, and they got a lot of potential. But again, they're rookies, so you never know.
You don't know. And again, they've had a black hole in left field when since you had like Joey Gallo, and you had Hicks, and you had Clint Frazier, and you've had like, it just seems like every year they're trying to figure out who's going to play that position, and they never figure it out. And I think the Yankees are better in the rotation. I don't think they're as good in the bullpen, and I still think the team to beat. I mean, have you looked at the Astros lineup?
Oh yeah, and they picked up Abreu from White Sox, so he's going to play first. And no, they're the team to beat again. So again, you get to the playoffs, and hopefully you don't get swept by the Houston Astros. But that's why it's exciting. The season is the season. You enjoy the season. You enjoy the length of the season, the ups and downs, and when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. I remember. I know it's different as far as Major League, but when I was with the Long Island Ducks, we had such a bad. No, we had the first year, 2012. We had such a good season, and we lost in the first round. We had like the best team. We lost in the first round. The next year, we just barely got in the playoffs, and we won the whole thing.
Why is that?
Because my point is that sometimes you click at the right moment, and you start playing with a little more edge or confidence. Confidence is huge at any level, especially in the major league level, because you got to believe you can do it in that moment. And a team that gets hot at the end, I believe, because I've seen it, I've been through it, and you start playing well, and it's just you start believing more, and the ball just bounces your way more, and next thing you know, look what happened to Philly last year. They weren't supposed to do it. They got hot. They started getting more confident. And next thing you know, they're in the World Series.
I think part of it also with Philly was they also started to get more healthy. You had like pretty much the team back. Harper came back. Wheeler came back. And things started to snowball. And what's his name? Schwarber had an off the charts season last year. Holy smoke!
We had a lot of home runs. Yeah, they got Trey Turner coming to that team this year, so they're going to be a team to beat. Atlanta's going to be a team to beat. So it's not going to be an easy National League East, but that's what makes it exciting. All the teams are good, and that's why you got to play the games between the lines.
Are you disappointed with the Mets offseason?
No, not when you. Obviously, I'm a big DeGrom fan, but obviously, he was injured a lot, but he left. But when you could get a Verlander, that's pretty impressive, and they did that. And then Buck's a great manager. They got some good pieces there. So, I just think that things are going to go their way.
There are two things I can't shake from last year. Okay, I loved the last year until the last 2 weeks of the season. The last weekend against Atlanta, the sweep. All you had to do was win one game. They couldn't do it, and then the way they played, in 2 of the 3 games against the Padres, and especially getting one hit
Yeah.
in that playoff game.
Well,
And they did nothing really to improve the lineup. I thought Correa, I mean, I understand why they didn't sign it, but they didn't go out and get another bat. I thought there were a couple of guys that could have gotten. I don't know who the DH is going to be. Is it going to be a combination of Vogelback and Ruff again?
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to be.
I don't know.
Guys, this fucking Met conversation is putting me to sleep. Can we fucking change topics for Christ's sake? I'm tired of the Mets. All this every year since I was a little kid. Oh my God, this is gonna be it. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. Oh my God.
That's the beauty of spring training.
It's like having an abusive father. Like, he beats the shit out of you, and then like he's good for like 5 months, and you're like, oh my God, things have changed. And then like April comes around, and he smacks you in the mouth again.
Yeah, that's well. We're Met fans, so we're gonna be excited about the upcoming season, and we're gonna root them on and wish for the best.
That's right. We're passionate Met fans. Yeah. Hey, so you grew up in Brooklyn, right? You graduated high school around, you said 88?
I graduated in 85. I graduated. I went to college. I left in 88 in my junior year.
Right. Okay. So 85. Young, cool looking Kevin Baez. You're down by the L on 86th Street. What are you listening to?
I was a big freestyle, soft rock music type of guy. But down the L was that freestyle music that, Maria and all that other stuff.
Judy Torres, right?
Judy Torres, TKA. So
he just played across the street from my house last night.
Is that right?
It was like the TKA, Stevie B.
Yes.
Rob Bass.
Yes. I did that about 5-6 years ago. They were playing out here in Long Island, and a whole group of friends of mine, we went out and we had a blast. I mean, for us, obviously, it brings back great memories, and they're still performing. So it was a good time.
Were you a guy who would go to Plaza Suite? Do you know that place?
I didn't go there too much. I was a big Pastels guy.
Oh, Pastels in Bay Ridge, yeah. That was. Let me tell you, Sean. You don't know that. See, Sean and I are both heavy metal guys, but okay. But Kevin and I were guys who like to get laid. All right, so you had to dance, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right, you weren't going to Lamore's to meet a girl.
There you go.
Okay?
Lamore's was another one, yeah.
Right, but we would go to like Bentley's. We would go to Plaza Suite and Pastels. The thing about Plaza Suite was, it had an interesting history. It was a real gangster place. It was owned by Sammy the Bull Gravano.
Wow.
And when you would go there, and you'd go there, and there wasn't only a coat check room. You had to check your weapon at the door too. I mean, it's a true thing. Hey, do you remember on 86th Street there was a place called the Record Hut?
Yes, of course. I lived on 86th and 24th Avenue.
You okay?
I lived right next to you.
So you were a guy who would go to L&B?
Oh, that's my pizza spot. L&B, Spumoni Gardens, John's Deli. Yep.
You take your kids?
I take them every once in a while because my mother-in-law still lives in Brooklyn. So a lot of times when she comes here, I tell her, the reason why I'm taking you home is because then I can stop off at L&B. But but I take them every once in a while. I don't get there as often as I should, but every now and again I get that urge, and L&B it is.
So, before comedy, before acting, I did a lot of coaching too. I coached football, and so I coached a team out here called Staten Island Tech, and on our varsity, I was a special teams coordinator, and I coached the offensive line. We played Lafayette, and and it was a nasty game. Okay, it got chippy. Even at the handshake at the end got a little nasty.
Oh, okay.
The next week, our JV, and I was also the head coach of the JV. Okay, our JV is playing their JV at Lafayette, and they wanted nothing more than to get a little revenge. They brought their varsity coaches to help coach that game. We go down there, and I tell our kids, I go, if we win this game, I got a special surprise for you.
No way, you took the whole team.
Took the whole team to
No
L&B.
way.
Took the whole team to L&B, and then I even
Yeah.
brought some back for the coaching staff that was back in Staten
Wow.
Island.
That's a good coach right there. Good coach.
I went to LMB once.
Ooh.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I didn't like
How do
it.
you only go there? Where do you live?
I'm in Jersey.
All right, that's
I'm
the
in
problem.
Jersey. So I got real pizza here.
Hey,
Yeah,
do
okay.
you remember on 86th Street there was a place called Lenny's Pizzeria? It was
Yes,
with,
I know that well. They're closing down today.
that's right. I'm just going to tell you, they're closing it down.
Yeah, no, Lenny's was good too. I like Da Vinci's, Lenny's. I grew up on all those. So love pizza, and I miss my Brooklyn pizza, no doubt.
When you're in like a locker room, okay,
Sure.
you have a lot of different guys. What kind of music gets played? And who dictates it?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. When I was the manager or coach, what we do is whoever the starting pitcher of that day, that's who would control the music of that day. So if the starting pitcher wanted country, we listen to country. If he wanted salsa, we listen to salsa. If he wanted rock, we listen to rock. So usually the starting pitcher of the day kind of dictates what the music is.
That's pretty cool, man. So any plans? If people wanted to get in touch with you, if people wanted to like get some lessons, we'll add this before the season starts. I know the high school season's going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks. College I think is starting next week, right?
Yeah.
So how could people kind of get in touch with you, for lessons, for tips, advice? How could they contact Kevin Baez?
Usually I go through either my email, kbaez10@aol.com, or my phone number, 631-291-6541.
Okay, Adam, and like in post, maybe what we can do is we can print that out, leave it up on the screen, and we can have people kind of check you out.
Yeah, definitely. Word of mouth. Obviously, I'm pretty busy now, but I could always use some more, and I enjoy what I do, and I'm good at what I do, so I like to give back a little bit as well.
Listen, man, I know you weren't up in the show for a long time, but I remember you as a player, and I remember you as at the very least as a great fielding player.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what was my my forte. That's how I got to the big leagues real quick. I was a good defensive shortstop with a good arm, good footwork, obviously good feet, and just didn't hit. So I was one of those slick fielding, no hitting guys in the major leagues. But in high school and college, I was one of the better hitters. So it was crazy.
You think you can make me a second baseman?
Absolutely.
I think that's what what are you shaking your head no, Sean?
But here's the thing: a lot of guys come down there and they put on their information list what position. Most guys say second base because they want to be on the right side of the infield because they can't reach first base from the left side. So if you could play the left side of the infield, that would add more value to you in the draft.
I say Jeff plays deep right field.
Deep right field. When the ball stops rolling, he'll pick it up.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Jeff's going to be the kind of player who wants to get the snow cone at the end of the game.
What's his name? Trax will hit me up.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy's nickname was the Human Rain Delay. Okay.
Yeah, Trax, a good man. He comes to fantasy camp. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, I heard you're friends with Tom. Can you pitch, dude?" Like,
yes.
I can pitch.
I was just gonna tell you if you could pitch, because the pitching is so important down there. Because a lot of guys either say they could pitch but they can't reach, or some guys could pitch one game and then they can't wipe their butt the next couple of days. So pitching is very important.
Jeff's definitely more of a catcher.
Catcher.
You know what he's doing there, Kevin, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
He likes to receive.
Yeah. Well,
I'll tell you, I have no problem. Noodle hit me with a pitch. It'll be Figueroa.
Yeah.
Because I think you were at that show where I was roasting him.
Yes. No, he's definitely gonna hit you.
Yeah, but he's a good dude, man.
I know he's a super guy.
He really is. He was the pitching coach this season at the Staten Island Ferry Hawks.
Correct.
and I'm in the crowd, before the game. I took my son. We are in the first row, third base side, and and we get there a little early because we want to see, the pitchers warm up. And and what's his name? Tejada was on that team. Okay, and Figueroa comes walking by, spots me out in the crowd. He's like, "Hey, you're the comedian." and, and he was just like a real gentleman, a really cool guy. It seems like all these guys down there are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but Nelson is like, he's so funny, he's so witty, he's so sharp. And he's one of the if the kangaroo court that we do, he's one of the guys that does that as well. But he's a great addition down there. He's actually going to be the pitching coach for the Long Island Ducks this year.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's managing that team?
Wally Backman.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, he's been there for he took over for me when I went to Rockland, and he's been there for at least 5 years, I think.
I would have loved to have seen him get a shot at being a major league manager.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a great baseball man, a great baseball guy, great baseball mind. Just, I don't think he's going to get a shot back to go back there, but he loves what he does, and he's good at what he does.
Any chance of getting Dykstra down there?
I doubt it. Yeah. And even Wally, Wally was going to come, I think, last year to the fantasy camp, and then he couldn't make it. So, hopefully maybe he comes this year. I don't know.
I got to show you if I could find it still. I shot a little like short movie with Dykstra. I'll tell you the story when I see it. He was crazy. He was so fun.
Yeah, he's a little wild, man. I don't know him too well, but obviously I know of him. But yeah, I would have, I'd love to have him come down to fantasy camp. He would be a great addition.
Yeah, really. I mean, think about that 86 team. My God, man.
Yeah.
And you said a lot of those 86 players that down there?
Let's see who's down there. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Tim Tuffle comes. Doc Gooden comes.
Yeah, that's Sean.
Why can't I think off the top of my head? Trying to think who else.
Let's see. Who was the shortstop? Rafael Santana.
Oh, he came last year. Yeah, Rafael came last year. Great guy.
But Tim McCarver.
What's that?
He's such an idiot. It goes Tim McCarver.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, he didn't make. Come on,
man.
Yeah. I want to try and ruin this experience. I have like 7 months or 8 months to ruin this.
Well, why don't you come down to visit him and get a taste of it yourself?
Let me tell you something. No, I would do that. Like I'm a Celtics.
You don't have to participate, but you could come.
No. Like here's how I think. Like I love basketball. Basketball's been my sport. Okay. I'm a Celtics fan my entire life. If the Celtics had a fantasy camp, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm old and I'm fat.
Well, it'll give you a chance to get back in shape and get,
No, I was never a shape.
You see, that's a competitor. That's an athlete talking. You, on the other hand, would drink a fifth of scotch, okay, and pass out.
I wouldn't pass out. I was just I would berate you without a filter. That's the difference.
You watching the NBA tonight?
I'm as soon as I get done to do that right now. It's the second worst All-Star game, Kev.
Yeah, no, I get it. It is, but it's entertaining. That's all they're gonna do. What do
you think so? They play zero.
They're just lobbing the ball up to one another.
Exactly.
I actually really love I love the NFL thing this year. I thought it was a breath of fresh air.
Because basically before that was flag football anyway. So yeah, this way nobody gets hurt. And yeah, absolutely.
Smart thing to do.
Yep.
But it's still the best baseball All-Star game is the baseball All-Star game.
Yeah, because it's a little bit more pure. Yeah, you can't really mess around. You got to throw the ball, you got to catch the ball, you got to hit the ball. So
that's it. Kevin, man, this has been fun. I look forward to seeing you in November. Maybe I'll see you a little bit before that. And thank you for coming on and doing it.
No, I appreciate the time, and go Mets, and look forward to seeing you down there.
Kevin, take care, man. Thank you very much.
You got it. Take care, guys.
See you guys later.
Check out Kevin Baez. Okay, Kevin Baez. He'll train you. Baseball lifer. That was good. Sean, you don't think I'm going to be successful down there?
No, not at all. I think here's how bad you're going to suck at fantasy camp. You're a better comic than you are a baseball player.
I'm a very good comic, though. Man, you got folks. You got to come see my sets lately. I mean, they've just been off the charts.
You don't understand. I said this once. I worked with you a couple times already this year. There was one show. You did so well that it annoyed me.
That's right. And wait. Hopefully this comes out before, because Adam sleeps sometimes. But hopefully this comes out before March 3rd.
It will.
That way people can come and see for themselves at Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, New Jersey.
That's true. It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm greatly looking forward to working with you again.
It's gonna be fun. All right, folks. The NBA All-Star Game is on. I think I'm gonna catch the second half of that. And Sean, we haven't done this in a while. Plug.
Just go to Facebook. Sean Morton on Facebook and Instagram. Sean Morton Comic.
All right, guys. We will catch you next time. Take care, everybody. Goodbye, Adam. All right, folks.
Later, guys.
Bye. Subscribe.